So about last weekend or so, whenever this video comes out, the Backrooms movie finally released. And like many people, I was very excited and I saw it opening weekend. I fucking loved it. That shit was really good. Now, I wouldn't have made a video on it, but I haven't posted in 6 months, so I thought I'd talk about it. Especially because there is so much hate going around online. And a lot of it makes absolutely no fucking sense. A lot of spoilers. There's going to be a lot of spoilers because I'm just going to be talking. I don't really have a script, so I'm just kind of going for it. So the movie takes place in the same universe as Kane Parsons, the director, his web series. And it takes place before the original found footage video, which is the only one I've seen. A big thing I was concerned about was people saying, oh, you have to understand the web theory. You got to know the lore, and it was made for the fans of the web theory. So I went in a little concerned. I wasn't expecting too much on this movie like many people had. And I was very, very pleasantly surprised. The movie follows a guy named Clark. He runs a furniture store, and he just got divorced because his wife kicked him out of his own house, and he's very upset. His furniture store is shit. He doesn't get any customers. He's broke, and his electrical bill keeps going way up for like seemingly no reason. And then we also have the other character, Mary, who is his therapist. She tries to help him through this tough time in his life, and during like a roleplay therapy session, he gets really upset.
I am a fucking architect!
So he's living in this furniture store, and after a few nights of like fucked up electricity, he goes down and he discovers a null zone, which is just a portal to the Backrooms. He walks in, is confused, but kind of just wanders around for about 10 minutes until he discovers the bag of an async scientist. Async's the company that discovered the Backrooms. They make MRI machines, or they used to. At the beginning of the movie, there's a found footage clip of an Async employee who's lost and can't contact Async, like, to get rescue, and then eventually gets... There's a bunch of flashbacks to Mary in this movie of her childhood with her mom and her old house. There's a good theme here, you can tell, which is trauma and issues, whereas Clark is angry and really upset. Mary, tries to help people. She tries to escape from that trauma and not let it take her over. Clark's getting really invested in this thing, and he tells Mary she does not believe him, obviously. So he enlists his assistant manager, Kat, and her boyfriend, Robbie, to just go down there and just videotape it. And then here's a cool-ass found footage, entire sequence, which I'm glad they kept some found footage parts because this is some of the scariest bits of the movie. Wait, is it Robbie or Bobby? I just realized I have no idea. It's one of them. I think it's Bobby. No, it's Bobby. Bobby gets dragged to his death, and Kat and Clark get separated. Clark has the camera now, and he's just running around, and he comes across this Christmas tree room, and he discovers these things called still lifes, which are like not human, but they are just recreations of humans. You kind of learn what they are later. Cut to Mary, and now this is her half of the movie. It switches perspectives, and it's fully on Mary. Mary wakes up to a voicemail from Clark saying that there's no going back, or something, that he's not going to come back, something like that. She gets worried. She goes to a store, looks to find him, discovers the Backrooms, and starts wandering in there looking for him, and she finds him, actually. And then when the entity's approaching, Clark puts her in a chokehold and knocks her out, which kind of freaked everyone in the theater out, because that was kind of weird. They have a whole kitchen scene where they in a kitchen with the still lifes. They have a conversation, then Mary yells at him a little bit, telling him that he can't change and he's a lost cause. He takes all this trauma and he lives with it, opposed to Mary, who will not live with it, who wants to escape from it. And that's why when the entity is finally revealed to be a not still life, but a recreation of Clark in this pirate outfit, but he's 9 feet tall and he's made out of flesh and blood, he eats Clark. Takes just a big old chunk out of his shoulder and then throws him around for a little bit. That gives Mary the chance to escape, and just then ensues like a 10-minute sequence of like at the end of the movie where Mary's getting out and stuff like that. And then she's found by async scientists. A lot of actual good complaints I'm seeing of the movie is that the dialogue and script is a little weird, which I get. I mean, Kane Parsons didn't even write that himself, so that's not even his fault. And the acting is unbelievable. And everyone who says the screenwriting's bad, they give props to the actors. The cinematography is unbelievable. This is shot so beautifully. Like, oh my God, Kane Parsons is an absolute goat at cinematography. Like, just everything in this movie is so beautiful. So yes, there are issues with this movie, but overall, it is scary. It is interesting. It is not boring. It is not boring. And if anything, I wish there was more. I wish they had more to offer. There was more async. And I think Mary's backstory is a little bit underdeveloped. With Clark, you don't see any of it, and you don't really have to. You kind of understand that he's not the best person. He's like a perfectly morally gray guy who he definitely, it's his fault that his wife left him. And they emulate that. That's what the entire kitchen scene is about. The reason that I love this movie, also, like, aside from the fact that it's just like really good, is that it completely changed the way I think about the Backrooms. The Backrooms has been planted in my mind and in internet culture as slop, as absolute bullshit. Kid slop, Roblox, like hundreds of thousands of games that are all poop. You got Roblox games with Shrek, Kanye, Obama. Like, this is just such a brain-rotted kid slop horror concept, which is the same thing that happened to FNAF and Poppy Playtime. Luckily for me, there wasn't any kids in mine. There was teenagers, and then there was adults. There was no, like, small children. I've heard stories of people who are taking their little kids to see this movie because they think it's gonna be, oh, it's gonna be kiddie. It's gonna be like the Minecraft movie. It's just gonna be some shit slop that's gonna make a lot of money and nobody tried, except they tried.
Chicken jockey.
Except they put in the effort, and that's why people don't like it. They were expecting another Minecraft movie. They were expecting another FNAF movie. They were expecting garbage that's funny and fun to watch, and then when they got something that they have to pay attention to, they lost their minds. They can't do it. A lot of people are smart enough to understand this movie, and of course, there are criticisms. It is not a perfect movie. I might glaze it a little bit, but a lot of criticisms I fully understand, like underdeveloped writing, weird dialogue, and just not enough shown. Those are 3 valid criticisms, but saying that it's not like the fucking Roblox game is not a valid criticism. Pirate Clark is 20 billion times creepier and cooler than the fucking Stickman in his original series. That was the thing I didn't like about Kane Pixel's original series. The entity is garbage, but in this, it's creepy. It is integral to the characters and to the story, and it makes sense. It is cool, it's creepy, it's unsettling. This entire movie is uncomfortable. We don't need a chicken jockey in this movie. We got a good psychological horror movie, and people do not understand that. Listen, what I'm trying to say here is that I realize that the Backrooms can be scary, and it was reinvented in my mind. Like, I was so desensitized to the Backrooms off of like 5 or 6 years of just straight bullshit being thrown around on the internet. But now that we got a worthwhile, good movie about the Backrooms that's scary, interesting, has good characters you actually care about, people don't know what to think. People were not ready for this movie. I will stand by that. A lot of people were not ready for this movie. And, you know, maybe it'll make people think, oh, I should probably go into a movie expecting something good. Especially if it's advertised as good. If you believe in some bullshit lore about level 757 with the dick tickler running around trying to eat you, that's not what this Backrooms movie is going to be about. And you're not going to like it because of that. And because you're closed-minded on what it's going to be. Of course, it's criticism. It's not for everybody. I really love this movie. It's a clean 4.5 stars. Speaking of which, my Letterboxd, I'll put it up. I'll put it in the description if you want to go follow it. I love the Backrooms. What did you think? If you want to comment, comments. And I'll see you later.